Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Strength at Length. As always, I'm your host, Nick McQuik, and I'm joined in the studio by the number one name of strength and conditioning in the Edmonton area, Jeff Garossino from GK Performance.
How you doing, guys?
Today, we're going to be talking about vitamin D. As you can probably see on the lower thirds, a little thing sliding in and out. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys, up in the top corner somewhere, there's something you can click on, and a little menu comes down. You can set up for live notifications. We do this every Wednesday, so you guys can jump in, and then you can yap at us in the comment section and let us know what we did wrong. But vitamin D, first I just want to kind of go through the one hilarious myth of vitamin D is the vitamin that we get from the sun.
That's true. Well, yeah, I mean, we synthesize it.
Yeah, we synthesize it when exposed to sunlight.
It's not like the sunlight gives it to you, no.
Yeah, it's not pills shooting out of the sun at you.
Heavens.
Yeah.
No, it is synthesized in our body, but we need UVB for it.
Yeah. But the one thing that a lot of people kind of been pushing, and there's actually a lot more awareness about it now, is that this is something that's upwards of like 70% of people are deficient in.
Yeah, huge deficiencies, and the further away from the equator you are, the worse it gets.
So with this, how do you know first that you're deficient? Because surely if you go to the doctor and ask for a test, they'll just do it, right?
You would think, right? Like they do with most things. No, they don't with vitamin D. It's a huge pain in the ass, and you're supposed to follow. There's a bunch of signs and symptoms you're supposed to have, which is like you're severely bone or deficient, and you're starting to get, what the hell is it, rickets, right? Where your bones start to soften before they're actually willing to run you through a test. So it is a giant pain in the ass if you actually want to get
But there's
tested.
a lot of like side effects that it's weird because there's such broad general things, just like fatigue, lack of appetite.
It's huge, and that's the problem is if you have those things, like they're not always related to vitamin D, so it's really tough to get it out of your doctor to give you a test. So yeah, but that being said, I mean, vitamin D is responsible for literally over 1,000 different cellular functions. So it's everything from keeping calcium in your bones to testosterone production to like it's just tons and tons of things. Like it is super important.
Now with vitamin D, I've heard that like it's good for teeth, hair, bones, skin, like across the board sort of thing. The one thing that this is kind of knock at Western medicine that I've noticed is I have a friend, not to brag, but and he had psoriasis, and the doctor went to the doctor, gave him steroid cream to put on it, all this other stuff, no effect whatsoever. Started supplementing with vitamin D, and it's gone.
Yeah, it's vitamin D is like if you have money to spend on one supplement, it should be vitamin D. It's like before anything else, vitamin D is super important, especially where we live, and especially in the wintertime. Oh, yeah. You don't get any vitamin D really from the sun because there's just not enough UVB rays coming through, right? And
with the vitamin D, like it's one of those things where if you take it, you'll start noticing like pretty quick. I'd say within a couple weeks you would notice.
It can be, yeah, and again, it depends how deficient you are and stuff like that. But yeah, some people do notice like within a couple weeks. Now it's definitely you're not going to notice it overnight because vitamin D, it's a fat-soluble vitamin, but really it gets converted through the liver, and then it gets converted through the kidneys, and it becomes a hormone actually. So it's more of a steroid hormone than a vitamin. So everybody hears steroid and they think, oh my god. No, it's steroid hormone just refers to anything that's cholesterol based, right? So
but with it, of course, being that it does affect your hormone profile.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and if you are deficient in it, as like some of our audience, which is bros and weightlifters and whatnot, if you're deficient in it, it could be causing like a kind of a plateau in the gym.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're not going to have optimal testosterone levels if your vitamin D isn't on point. And that's a proven thing, and they have done research into it. It's not that it's really going to boost testosterone per se. If you have sufficient vitamin D, taking more is actually really bad. Having too much vitamin D is pretty well just as bad as having not enough vitamin D.
Well, and you said it's a fat-soluble vitamin, so you can have too much. Like with vitamin C is water-soluble, so if you have it, you just pee it right out.
Yeah, yeah.
But with this, it'll stick around, and you can actually get like almost a toxic effect from it.
The big problem with it is that it starts to like calcify your arteries, kind of thing, which is
that doesn't sound
bad. Yeah,
that sounds like fun.
Again, though, like you got to take a lot. I think right now the daily recommended intake is like 4,000 IU a day.
Yeah.
Now, again, like that is just for everybody on the planet, kind of thing. So if you live in California or you live in Yukon, you're going to have very different requirements for vitamin D. So again, it is best to get tested. They have done studies safely up to 10,000 IU a day, though I would not recommend you take that much just because I'm not a doctor. Well,
that's scientists. That's the scary thing too, is saying like steroid. And you can't take too much. So people just understand that a steroid isn't something that's just going to make you swole.
Yeah. No, it's not.
But it is one of those things where it is increasingly hard to test it. But the general rule of thumb for me is I have about 1,000 units a day daily, and I seem to be good. In winter, I'll like quadruple that because there's no sun.
I would say at least. I mean, again, like right now, the daily recommended intake is 4,000 IU a day. Yeah. I go for a walk in the middle of the day, so you tend to get fairly good amounts, I would think, compared to your average person. But I still take 4,000 IU a day year round. Usually in the winter, I'll up it. Because, I just like to take a little extra just in case. But that doesn't mean you guys should. It's my body, and I kind of play with things a little bit differently. The other issue with it, actually, that a lot of people don't know, is that so sunscreen blocks UVB radiation, which is good if you don't want skin cancer, but it also blocks, you're not going to get any vitamin D if you have skin cancer. So being in the sun, if you have sunscreen on all the time, no vitamin D. Also, melanin blocks vitamin D. So people with darker skin actually have more requirement for vitamin D, and the more tan that you get, even living here, the less vitamin D you absorb through the sun.
Which is a weird thing, sort of a genetic adaptation of me being a ginger, is that it's readily available.
It's there for the taking.
If there's lights on in the studio, I'm getting it somehow. So that's why I don't think I need as much, but also I would love to go to a doctor and get a hormone profile drawn up, and
definitely
but we were talking about in winter, it's definitely something that you should supplement more, especially if you're in a place where you're getting less light. So good Christmas present for the woman you love might be just give her the D.
Well said.
I had to deliver right to the camera. So we've already said you can overdose on it, and there are negative effects to it being like not present. We get it from the sun. We can also, of course, take it from pills. Is there any like food?
No, there isn't. What they do is they add it to foods like milk and stuff like that, and mostly dairy products, because again, you need fat. But it's funny where they'll add vitamin D to skim milk. There's no fat in skim milk, therefore you're not going to absorb it. Again, if you take it with a fat-containing meal, which you should do no matter what, take your vitamin D with your fish oil or at least a high-fat meal. Not high fat as in like 100 grams of fat.
Just not a cup of olive oil.
Of eggs or whatever you do, right? But you want to take it with fat, hence why it comes in like a vegetable triglyceride solution, so that it's in fat, or this one is flaxseed oil, right? But the amount they put in milk too is, I think it's like 200 or 300 IU in a serving. Like you would have to drink like a gallon of milk in order to get the amount of vitamin D that you need.
Gallon challenge, right?
Don't try it.
God. But it is one of these things where we've really kind of adapted and changed. And like I was giving an anecdotal story about my buddy and his psoriasis. If I've kind of learned that when a body is in sort of more balance and everything's good, it almost kind of and I mean, people can argue with this as much as they want. It's less susceptible to disease.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's just like overall health and immune function, right? Like, if your body is constantly battling, you know, one specific thing all the time, it's like the argument for food intolerances, right? If you're constantly eating something that you're just a little bit allergic to, and your body's constantly having to fight that off, well, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna
lose that fight.
System, and like it's just all of a sudden other problems start to come up too because your body can't defend against it, right? So improving overall health, Yeah, and it's like, did the vitamin D fix the psoriasis? Yeah, maybe. Or maybe it's just he's overall healthier and
now his body has a better way of fighting it.
Exactly.
And it's one of those things where on the show, many times we push a whole diet of like healthy foods and just getting all of that. And this is one of the few things where you can't get it from that.
You have to buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also one of these things where you have to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
And I know for a lot of people that is really hard. For me, started like initially back when I was younger, like if I was a chick, I would have been pregnant all the time because I just was so bad at sticking to pills.
It's surprising. A lot of people really have problems just taking like 4 pills a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is one of those things. Like now there are some people that like to like mega dose it and then wait 4 days and do it again. I just take 4,000 IU a day, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if you want to play with that kind of stuff, go ahead. But yeah, I would say just take it daily. Don't take more than you need, kind of thing. And if you can weasel your way somehow into a vitamin D test, get it done. And that way you know.
Yeah.
But
I have no idea why the doctors do not do it.
I don't know. I remember I was told at one point, but that was a couple years ago, and I cannot remember why.
It probably wasn't a good reason.
My doctor didn't even know because he put me in for a vitamin D test, and then it all came back, and I was denied on it, and I hadn't talked to him, but I went and talked to a naturopath, and she told me why. I just can't remember, but yeah, it's bullshit, basically. If you live in the States, I think it's like $100. You can pay for a full blood panel to do your vitamin D. You might be able to pay for a vitamin D test here. I haven't looked into it. I'm not sure, but I know it's real hard to get it out of your doctor.
I'm going to be going down to the States. Maybe I should look at that.
Yeah, it's cheap down there. It's easy to get it done, too. So,
because it is one of those things where it's so strange to me because I had always thought like just live a healthy natural life, exercise, like have good connection with your body, have good choice in your diet, and you should do fine. But this is like the only thing.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like part of the point of supplements is optimizing, not surviving, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't take this, like I lived for, I don't know, I probably started taking this maybe 4 years ago. So I was alive for 21 years without vitamin D and I didn't die. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't ever take it their whole life and like you're okay. But again, it's about living optimally, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like, yeah, it's going to help improve quality of life, right? But if you don't take it, you're not going to die, you know what I mean? So it is one of those things that, a lot of people they think like, oh, if I just eat healthy, well-balanced, exercise, and it's like, yeah, that's definitely true. But again, if you're trying to optimize, it's not enough.
Yeah. Well, I got because of the ginger thing, the mutated M1CR receptor, so I absorb it very effectively. So I don't have to supplement as much. But even then, when I started supplementing it and just taking like 1,000 units a day, I noticed that I was sleeping better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, that was the big effect for me, which has always been a big problem.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I can go to the gym and bust out weights all day, but then, like, getting to sleep and recovering is always the downside. So this actually helped me with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it does 1,000 functions on the body.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It is extremely important. Another thing too that we should add in is it's best to take it with vitamin K as well. They work synergistically together, and it is fairly important. If you're cheap like I am, and you kind of sometimes get the vitamin K one, sometimes you just get the regular stuff. It is good.
They've got the vitamin D, magnesium, calcium bundles too, because vitamin D actually helps your body absorb those electrolytes a little bit better. So it helps a lot. I know some people will have like brittle bones or some sort of calcium deficiency, and they'll take calcium, they'll take magnesium, and they can't absorb it. Yeah. And actually vitamin D helps with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super important to take, not take with your calcium, but they do work synergistically together. Yeah. So you need both of them together kind of thing in the body. The only problem with the ones that are like calcium, magnesium, D3 that's another thing too, is make sure you guys get D3, don't get D2. I don't even know if they really make it anymore, but D3 is the only thing that's really bioavailable for us. But the only problem with it is there's usually like 500 IU of vitamin D. They don't put a whole lot in there.
So now you're just going to be choking down a handful of pills.
Yeah, like, and if you take enough calcium, magnesium to get the vitamin D out of it, like you're way too much calcium and magnesium. Yeah. So it is usually best to get them separate, but yeah, you can get them combined, and I mean, the extra bit of vitamin D it's not going to hurt. It's a couple hundred IU, right?
So we've got two different types here. We've got the capsule and then the eye droplet.
Yeah.
Now, fun fact, as far as I know, the capsule is just a capsule of what is in the eye droplet.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's just this might take another minute for your body to break down.
Yeah.
So, but is there any other form? Because I sometimes see it in like a powdered form.
Yeah, they make powdered and they make like even like pill form, like tablet. I'm not so sure. I haven't seen like anything that says if it's good or bad. Again, whether it's liquid or capsule or anything, you got to take it with a fat meal.
Yeah.
Fat containing meal, sorry. So as far as the powdered forms, I don't actually know. I think it's kind of weird, but I haven't heard anybody say don't take it like that. I haven't heard anybody say do take it like that. So I'm not sure, and I couldn't really find any research that backed up whether to take it in a powdered form or a capsule form or what.
Like I always just kind of go back to the common sense and my knowledge of the body, because it's got to go through the kidney, it's got to go through the liver, it's got to so it's going to be in there for a while, kind of going. So I think powder, liquid, everything, it's got to get digested, it's got to go through. I don't really know if it's going to be one of those things, especially if you're taking it daily, that the different delivery method is really going to affect it too much. As long as you're getting B3. Now the one thing, there are some oils and things that you take for your body that are competitive with each other. Is there anything that's competitive with vitamin D?
Competitive with vitamin D? Not that I know of. I don't know if you've seen anything that is, but nothing that I've seen is really competitive with vitamin D. Again, just the biggest thing is that you got to take with fat. But other than that, nope, I haven't seen anything that's competes with it for uptake.
Which, I mean, for me, for fat, I'll take it in the morning, and usually I have cottage cheese and turkey bacon. And a little bit of oatmeal, and that's...
Yeah, as long as the cottage cheese isn't the fat-free stuff, right?
No, God.
No, that's totally fine. I'll usually take it, like, I like having eggs in the morning quite a bit, so I'll usually just take it with that, or with my fish oil caps, which I usually take in the morning anyways, so... Yeah, as long as there's some fat ingested with it, you're good to go.
And it's one of these things, too. It's morning, evening, middle of the day, whenever you take it. It doesn't... Like...
Pretty much, yeah. There is, like, a little bit of anecdotal kind of evidence that shows that taking it before bed, for some reason, though it helps, like, people say that it helps them fall asleep, like you had said, but there are some people that actually find, like, a slight stimulant effect, and they can't fall asleep if they take it before bed. Wow. Again, there's not a lot of, like, it's not a ton of research behind it, but there are some people that do find that effect, so, you know, play with it a little. I take it before bed sometimes, in the morning sometimes, whatever. I've never noticed the difference, so, but yeah, there are some people apparently it does have that effect with.
Now, the fun thing, I ran out and I bought some of this a little while ago, because I wanted a nice bottle to show off for the video, but I didn't realize this until I went into a drugstore, just how much price variance there is in this, and it is crazy. It's almost at like whey protein level, because I saw like some bottles were $3 and some were $10 for like a difference of maybe 20 pills. Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure. Vitamin D is like, it's one of those, it's one ingredient. There's not like a whole bunch of different things in there. As far as I know, just get vitamin D. I've never seen too much on like
as long as it's
control
D3
standards. Yeah, as long as it's D3, as far as I know, you're fine.
Yeah.
So it's not with certain things. It is like really important that you get good quality, and there's some real shit quality stuff. As far as I've seen with vitamin D3, it's all the same. So yeah, but it is weird. There are some stuff is way more expensive.
Yeah, maybe it's just a fancier bottle. Who knows?
Yeah, it definitely could be. Unless again, if they have the K in there, then it's usually quite a bit more money for good reason. But yeah.
Well, and that's one thing too with multivitamins. When you buy a multivitamin, usually it has the dosage of everything on it, and I've noticed that vitamin D is usually very low on it.
Yeah, and even like multivitamins are fine and all, but again, it's one of those things where it's like they'll put like magnesium in there. Magnesium is extremely important too. We could do a whole episode on that. Yeah. But like you need like 100, depending what kind of magnesium you're taking, you're usually somewhere in the range of a couple 100 grams. Well, if they just the magnesium alone is a pill that's the size of your multivitamin. So your multivitamin is going to be this pill that's like that. It's like stuffed everything into it in the right amount.
Eating a small football.
Exactly, right? Yeah. Like it's fine to supplement with a vitamin or a multivitamin, but yeah, it's like vitamin D there's not nearly enough in there.
Yeah. Well, I always talk about like supplementation for whole diets and everything. And I try and account for vegans, vegetarians, and for them, I really see a multivitamin being like an important thing that they should be taking. But also that just because there's vitamin D in your multivitamin doesn't mean you're getting vitamin D.
Exactly. It's all dose dependent, and yeah, it's just like there's not nearly enough in there, right?
Yeah.
So, which is fair. They can only do so much, which is why if I'm going to get a multivitamin, again, I'm kind of cheap a lot of times, so I get whatever's kind of decent and not too badly priced, but if I had all the money in the world, yeah, well, pretty close. If I had all the money in the world, I personally would look for something with less ingredients, the stuff that you have trouble getting in your diet, in better quantities. That's my opinion on multivitamins. Instead, they do the buckshot approach. Like, I don't need zinc in a multivitamin. I eat a lot of red meat, and I typically supplement with zinc anyways because the stuff in the multivitamin is usually not great quality. Yeah. So there's certain things in multivitamins that are kind of like, I don't need that, but whatever.
Yeah. So this is definitely on the list of like highly recommended supplements.
Yeah, it's like it's in the top 3 for sure. It's probably number 1. It's overall health, just everything.
And like important. Especially as like a younger man growing older, being consistent with this will help you maintain like a healthy hormone profile. Yeah, I would say that this is probably more effective than most testosterone boosters that you see on the market.
Oh, definitely. The ones that are on the market, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the other thing too with it is that there is some evidence that it shows, oh boy, how does it work? Longer telomere length, I think it is. Yeah. Basically anti-aging. Telomere length is the biggest thing that we have for like your biological age, and I can't remember if it's supposed to be longer or shorter right now. I'm going brain dead, but it helps with anti-aging is what I'm trying to get at. So yes.
Damn, sounds like something good to invest in.
Extremely important.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we do this every Wednesday. Make sure you turn on live notifications somewhere up in the top, and then you can jump in the conversation. Let us know if there's anything that we said that was incorrect. Please link us to some articles. We love reading. And if there's any questions that we didn't answer that you have, that's what the comment section is for. And remember, give her the D.